It's about my coughing. Just got something in the back of my throat.
Okay, Andrew, kick us off now. We can hear you.
Okay, well, Gregor, no surprises where we're going to start. Welcome back, first and foremost. On the process, was there a contingency of how it would work if a coach went down? And if there was, did it work as well as you hoped it would?
Yeah, look, it's great to be back. It has been a frustrating week being in my hotel room, but it was great to be back with the squad on Wednesday. And yeah, in terms of contingencies, I think what we've found over the last 12 months is that technology can play a big part in connecting with people. So whether that's being in a meeting via Zoom or presenting to the players with video clips, having meetings with them over the phone. And actually the week that we had with those two games, with obviously the Sharks game, with the late changes and a lot of people being in isolation, there wasn't so much coaching time that I missed, just the connections with the players and the being in the room with them.
I'm sure you wouldn't want to repeat this process, but was there anything actually that emerged that you thought, actually, that's a bonus? I wouldn't have normally have got that.
No, no, wouldn't want to repeat it. And I think you really miss the conversations you would have after a meeting or being on a training field, just to get the feel of where people are. And you do feel like you're not there when even though you're on a phone call or you're watching the game remotely and messaging the other coaches during the game just on things that you're seeing. But nothing beats being there.
We're at the business end of the tour now. How important is this game tomorrow? It sounds a very simplistic question, but I imagine it's a simplistic answer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really important. It's our last game before the tests, so we know the test series will be a different focus, different level of intensity. This is an opportunity for players to play again. Some that didn't play last week, some that haven't played yet on tour. So it's a massive game for everyone involved. It's a big game for our learning too. What we've been working on, what we learned from our last two games, in particular the one on Wednesday. And it's obviously a huge game for selection. We haven't discussed test selection at all, and we know that that's going to occupy our minds on Sunday, and it's the last chance for players to put their hands up.
We know from history Warren Gatland is prepared to pick someone for a test match when they've actually played the Wednesday before. So I imagine this squad of all being reminded this is a Saturday before. No one's ruled in, no one's ruled out then.
Yeah, look, I don't think we have to remind them. I think they know that this is a big opportunity. The players that played on Wednesday, I would imagine would have realised that it was an even bigger opportunity for them because we're playing against the Shadow Springbok team. But what's freshest in a coach's mind obviously has influence. So how well the players perform tomorrow will add to what they've already done on tour. But yeah, it's an opportunity for people to grab.
How excited are you to see what Marcus Smith can do? He's only just stepped off a plane and here he is starting a game for the Lions.
Yeah, I'm excited, but I've also managing my expectations, and I'm sure we all are. This is a tough game for not for him, but for the whole squad. We've only had one training session going into this game. So the Wednesday, Saturday turnaround is really tough. So things won't go perfectly. I think we saw that with the Sharks, second Sharks game. So when a team doesn't have a huge preparation, it takes them a while to get into the flow of things. And for someone like Marcus, it's his first game. He's not had the Jersey camp. He's not had the 3 or 4 weeks that we've had in South Africa. So we've got to enable him and allow him to play what he sees. Already he's leading like our 10 should lead by saying this is a play we're doing, but also giving feedback and where forward should be, what we should be doing at a certain time. So that's great because he's got to feel things naturally. And if he plays as well as he has for his club and his country the last few weeks, then he'll go well.
Just finally from me, on another 10, how is Finn Russell? Warren was talking, a week or so ago about the potential that if his foot doesn't right itself pretty soon, then it might be a flight home. What is the latest with him?
Yeah, it's a wait and see. We're now, I think, there's 5-6 days into his recovery. Had an injection into that area. He's out of his boot, so he'll start. Excuse me. He'll start the rehab process gently this week, and then when we get to the end of the week, we're hoping he'll be able to be back involved in full training. So it's unlikely he'll be involved in the first test, but we're still hopeful that he'll be available for the last two.
Thank you, Gregor.
Thanks.
Hi, Gregor. Graham Bean here. Hope you're well. Can I ask you how you're able to keep yourself occupied in these lonely days in your room?
Well, there was a silver lining, and that was I could watch a lot more of South Africa. I've watched a lot of their games over the last few months, but when you go from Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, the focus is on helping prepare the team. So not being with the team, I was able to look back at games that they've played recently, and as far back as 2018 when the current coaches took over. So yeah, I'm more aware of what we're expecting in defence from them, and that game on Wednesday just added to that. It was great for us to learn more about what they're looking to do, and for our players to feel that during the 80 minutes. So that was the only silver lining, I think.
And did you get to know Stuart Hogg a little bit better during your time there?
Not really, because we weren't really isolated together. So he's obviously very disappointed. He was sitting in front of me on the bus coming back from training, and he was in his own room. The last couple of days we were allowed out of the room and were able to have lunch at a distance, and the weather was quite nice. So at least we got that pleasure of being able to socialise and chat. And there was another 3 people in isolation as well. So yeah, we formed our own little bubble when everybody left us on Sunday. And Stuart was also coming back from injury. So it was great to see him taking a full part in the warm-up on Wednesday in the game. And obviously he's past fit to play for tomorrow.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks.
Hey, Gregor, welcome back.
Thank you.
Can I just...
You're in South Africa, are you, Murray, or not?
No, I'm in Dublin.
No,
I'm in Dublin, unfortunately. Can I just ask for your assessment of the attack on Wednesday and what you learned from that good, solid run out?
Yeah, look, there was, I think once you get past the first 20 minutes where we maybe lacked the intensity or the energy that we've brought in every game so far, maybe we were a little bit cautious of what South Africa were going to bring. If you take that away, I thought there was a lot of positive elements, a lot of things that were being created, a lot of pressure being put on the defence that were leading to penalties, to a lot of tackle breaks, a few line breaks too. And what we need to do next time when we get those opportunities is take them. I know there's a couple of tries disallowed, and a couple of times we looked like we're inches away from the try line. So yeah, you can look at that with a glass half full or glass half empty. I'd like to look at it optimistically that we did put pressure on them and we had opportunities to score more points. We just have to make sure we do that next time.
Sorry, just lost the connection there. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You froze.
Yeah, sorry. My second one is just on Robbie Henshaw. Obviously, like really frustrating time, but how big a role can he play in attack and really in all aspects of the Lions game?
Yeah, I think you've nailed it there. All aspects, he can have a huge role because he's an all-round player. He's a good attacker, both as a ball carrier and a passer. Very good support runner too. And then he's got the kick chase ability, which he showed really well against Scotland this year and in other games. And then defensively, he's outstanding. So I think he showed in that Japan game as well that how Steve is wanting the team to defend. He adapted really quickly to that. So yeah, we're delighted that he's back. He obviously got through training fine today, and he gets a chance now to show that he's available to play the Test series.
Cheers, go out.
Hey, Gregor. As mentioned earlier, this is the last game before the Test series begin. How influential can one match be in deciding whether or not a player is selected?
It's the last thing that you see as a coach, so it can have an influence, like how well players did throughout the tour. In our bigger games, let's say the Japan game, the game the other night, they're factors. The sort of catalog, what's the word I'm looking for? The catalog of what you've done on tour and how you've impressed at training, as well as your consistency throughout the games, will have a factor. But also what you've done the day before we sit down for selection is going to influence us. It is, absolutely. And selection is about giving players opportunities, and ultimately it's them that have to take them. So if players grab them tomorrow night and put in a performance we believe can help us win that first test, then they're going to be in a strong position.
Sure. And that selection process begins on Sunday.
Yeah, I would imagine so. That's the way we've done it for the other games. We know this is obviously going to be our most important selection, and we don't have a midweek game to worry about. So getting the team out there at the beginning of the week, once we know where everybody is medically, yeah, I can see Sunday night being the time where we do that.
Sure. And just on the South Africa A game, when you were watching that, did it make you feel that the challenge you faced is bigger or the same as you were expecting already? How did you come away from that game?
It's hard to assess around what we expected and what we saw. It's more the fact that we've had that learning. Like, our players have felt now what it's like to go up against the Springboks. Not many people get that opportunity, and when you do, it's a one-off game, whether it's a World Cup semi-final for the Welsh guys or a final for the English guys. So to now have had that experience of what they're about, the way they're going to play, they're not going to change. We know that. They will be better for the hit out, but we've felt and seen where they're strong, maybe where there's opportunities, and that's hugely valuable for the group that played, but also those that were in the stadium that have watched it. So yeah, we know the test series is going to be another couple of levels up, but we'll also improve going into that test series. We've got another game, we've got another few training sessions, and the test series should bring out the best in our players.
Great, thank you, Gregor.
Thank you.
Hi, Gregor. How are you doing?
I'm good. How's things?
Good, thank you. Can I ask you a Scottish question? How do you think that the Scottish contingent have done so far, and how much of a chance have they given themselves ahead of the tests?
Yeah, I believe they played very well. They've been consistent with their performances. I'm obviously here as coaching the whole group, but I've been delighted with how well the Scots guys have integrated, how they've thrived in this environment, and taken their opportunities. Like so many players have taken opportunities, that it's going to be a very tough selection. And I'm sure at the end of it, when we get to that 15 and that 23, we'll be delighted with whoever we select. And we know if we pick up injuries or have to change things throughout the test series, we'll still have a really strong team. So that's a credit to all the players in the squad.
How competitive is it at the moment in training as we get closer to these tests?
You know, you don't really see a huge amount in training, just because of the nature of our training this week. We because you go Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, you're not training as much. Today was a team run day. It's only session that this team have had, so the team run isn't as intense. They were off yesterday, and then the Wednesday team had the Tuesday session. So I know if we'd had a full session this week and it was one of those intense sessions, I think there would be a lot more edge than we're seeing. But our learnings are coming through our games now. That's where players get the chance to show their intensity.
Thank you.
Hi, Gregor. Can I pick up on a couple of your earlier answers? You said to Dunk with the competition for places, and when it comes to test selection, you look at the catalogue of their work. How do you judge guys like Robbie and Stuart, who sort of through no fault of their own have missed a large chunk of this tour?
Yeah, well, obviously for them, they'll have had less games, so it's what they've done in the games, where we see them fit with the game we want to play, based on the type of player they are, not just on this tour, but prior to this tour. and both of them have an opportunity tomorrow. So it would have been much tougher for them if they hadn't been available for this game, even if they'd been fit for next week. So knowing that they're both fit and they're going to get a game, that adds to the quality and the competition we have for places.
So that they can still play their way in with an excellent performance tomorrow.
Absolutely, and we know that we want to give players opportunities. Same with Alan Wynne. He's came out, and maybe we weren't thinking, and maybe he wasn't thinking they'd be involved in this game. But we want to give players the opportunity to show where they are physically, but also where they are in terms of their form. So it's now up to them to grab it.
And when you said you were locked in your Johannesburg hotel room and studying up on South Africa, watching all those videos, you said you learned a few new things. What can you elaborate on what those were? What
I'm going to tell you about what I've learned. That's a good question. No, look, it was confirming some thoughts. It's just, and sometimes when you watch a game for a second or third time, you see something new. So not all of what you learn and you study you can put into a game plan. Or actually, if it's in the game plan, it doesn't come out that weekend. But that experience that I had, spending a bit more time watching South Africa, and in particular the game that we played against their shadow team on Wednesday, those are going to be helpful for us. Just knowing our enemy, knowing what we can expect in certain situations. But we've also got to focus on ourselves too. Like, knowing the enemy is important, but knowing our strengths, knowing what will put them under pressure, and getting the way we want to play out in the Test series is going to get us the win.
Very Sun Tzu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Gregor. It's Hugh Godwin. Hello.
How you doing?
Fine, thank you. Looking at your starting fly half for the first test, not expecting you to tell us who that is, but whoever it is will not have had much game time on the tour, even including the Japan match. Does that disappoint you? Would you have liked more of a chance to see that person in operation? And can you tell us how you've been making up for that in training, maybe by running the 10, 12, 13 combination that you intended in the first test?
Yeah, I think having 3 10s, we wanted to give them all an opportunity to play at 10, which they've all had. We've also got a 4th 10 out now who's playing tomorrow. So I think they've all had 2 starts, I think, at 10. Finn hasn't. He's only had 1 start at 10, but he's came off the bench. So 2 starts isn't bad. These are guys who are experienced players. They're all between 28, 30-year-olds, so they know their way around a test match, and they've trained pretty much fully, apart from Finn, in the last few days. So yeah, they'll be fine. Whoever is selected at 10, we obviously hope that they're fully fit, and that's one reason why Dan and Owen aren't involved tomorrow, is just to make sure that we've got a full week of training next week with those guys available.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.